Hello, bonjour. And the book that I'm looking at right now is called The Medium is the Massage. It's by, well, the words are by Marshall McLuhan, and the layout and images are chosen by Quentin Fiore. That's an image of a toe, really big. The book itself is pretty small, the size of my head. I like to read small books because it makes me feel bigger. Electric circuitry profoundly involves men with one another. Information pours upon us instantaneously and continuously. As soon as information is acquired, it is very rapidly replaced with still newer information. Our electrically configured world has forced us to move from the habit of data classification to the mode of pattern recognition. We can no longer build serially, block by block, step by step, because instant communication ensures that all factors of the environment and of experience coexist in a state of active interplay. I'm going to start out by saying that I think this book is really great, and I'm also going to point out that it was written quite a long time ago. When was the copyright? 1967. And I find that when I read a lot of stuff by Marshall McLuhan, I get kind of freaked out because what he's saying in these books that were written 40 years ago is really, really relevant and spot on if you apply it to what's going on right now. And I guess that's why he's still really famous and why Canadians love him, because he's Canadian. So, oh, happy Canadian Thanksgiving also. Happy Columbus Day. Because I know you love television and you love to think about television and write about it. So here's something that McLuhan has to say about television. In television, there occurs an extension of the sense of active, exploratory touch, which involves all the senses simultaneously, rather than that of sight alone. You have to be with it. But in all electric phenomena, the visual is only one component in a complex interplay. Since, in the age of information, most transactions are managed electrically, the electric technology has meant for Western man a considerable drop in the visual component, in his experience, and a corresponding increase in the activity of his other senses. Remember, this is written in 1967. Societies have always been shaped more by the nature of the media by which men communicate than by the content of the communication. The alphabet, for instance, is a technology that is absorbed by the very young child in a completely unconscious manner, by osmosis, so to speak. Words and the meaning of words predispose the child to think and act automatically in certain ways. The alphabet and print technology fostered and encouraged a fragmenting process, a process of specialism and detachment. Electric technology fosters and encourages unification and involvement. It is impossible to understand social and cultural changes without a knowledge of the workings of media. So there's a lot of fun layout in this book. So if you are a visual person, despite living in this new sensory age, you'll probably enjoy it. And it's makes it a little bit more fun to read because it doesn't feel very dense, it feels pretty light. So I think that's a pretty great way of looking at some of the new media that are around. And I don't really know, what I would like to know about this book is who else has been writing on a similar topic besides McLuhan. And I feel like if I knew a little bit more about media theory, then maybe I would know the answer to that. But I do have to say that he's still really commonly read all the time because what he had to say is still incredibly relevant, which blows me away. Maybe 40 years isn't that long, but it feels like a long time considering everything that's happened in the last 40 years, technologically speaking. And McLuhan definitely has a quirky sense of humor, so his books are fun to read. They're weird, and also they contain I would say they contain a lot of references to 60s events and popular culture, some of which are totally over my head. I don't know how many people under the age of 30 right now know who Twiggy is. I didn't really until I read this. And actually, I don't even think it was this book. Anyway, if you know who Twiggy is, then hey, you're good to read McLuhan. Yeah, I would encourage anyone who loves the internet, who has big hearts for the internet, I would encourage any of those people to read this book, because it's for people who are in love with media and want to think about how the world is changing through the media that we use and how social interaction is changing. The other thing I would say, if I had one complaint about this book, would be that he says man a lot, and there's lots of reasons for him doing that, but it's still irritating to read, especially if you're a woman, maybe? I don't know, maybe it's irritating for everyone. That would be maybe my one complaint about the writing, but other than that, it's a pleasure to read. It's a pretty quick read. I read it in just a couple of hours on a lovely Saturday afternoon. So yeah, I hope that you can get a hold of it and take a look.